Alright, so let's look at 5-5, solve inequalities using multiplication and division. We're going to take some notes on a few different examples on page 55. Let's begin with writing 3x less than 24. In order to solve this, it's a one-step inequality, and that is just like solving a one-step equation with multiplication or division. So we're going to start by putting a fraction bar under both sides. And since you want x by itself, you will divide by 3. And these cancel out on this side because 3 divided 3 is 1. And you don't write the 1, you just write x. And that is less than 24 divided 3, which is 8. Right, let's continue this with one that has a different perspective or look to it. 16 greater than or equal to 4y. Once again, this just like using a one-step equation, but it's a greater than equal to inequality. So to both sides, we are going to divide by 4 because that's what's next to y. Use your fraction bars. Do not do division symbols. This divides on the left with 1y or just y. Bring down the same symbol, greater than or equal to, on this side, and 16 divided 4 is 4. Now, not that this is an incorrect answer, it is right. But simplified and writing it so it's easier to graph later on, it's much better to rewrite this switching y to the left-hand side, which means you've got to reverse this symbol because 4 is now on the right. Now let's see why that makes sense. 4 is greater than or equal to y, which means y is less than or equal to 4. Same thing. Alright, we're going to move on to some more examples here before we go on to some practice shortly. And the next one is x divide 6, just like that with a fraction bar, greater than or equal to 5. Alright, now when we're dividing inequalities, it's just like equations, and the opposite of divide is multiply. So we're going to put a 6 up here at the top so that you can do 6 divided 6 leaves you with 1x or x. You're going to bring down the greater than or equal to sign, and we're going to put times 6 over here. And 5 times 6 is 30, and that is your final answer. Now, let's continue practicing these. If you want to pause the video and try these yourself, you can do that and then check your work with the video. So the next one, let's go with 13 greater than or equal to w divide 13. Alright, so this is the same type of problem as what you see over here, but we put the variable on this side this time. And let's look. If you're dividing 13, the opposite would be multiply. So if I put 13 up here, 13 times w divide 13 means they cancel out and I can bring down w. Bring down the symbol and then times 13 over here. And 13 times 13 is 169, greater than or equal to w, or we can reverse it and say w is less than or equal to 169. Okay? So we just flip it. Now, let's go on to 4 more examples just to get some good looks at what your problem should resemble. Next one, let's go with 7x less than negative 42. Okay? Now you notice I start throwing in integers there. No longer are we just dealing with positive numbers. So far though, I will tell you, the things we're doing, the steps we're using, all the same. We want to get x by itself, and so we're going to divide 7 from both sides. Divide 7 here, and divide 7 from this side using your fraction bar. And then we are going to cancel out the 7s because they divide and leave you with 1x. Bring down the less than symbol, and negative 42 divide 7, that is negative 6. Like I said, as we go, you can stop the video, practice this yourself, and then check your work. Next one, negative 20 greater than, let's go with w divide 2. All right, and same steps once again. We are dividing 2 over here, which means we're going to multiply 2 to both sides, okay? And 2 divide 2 leaves me with W on the left. These cancel out. Bring down this symbol. And 2 times negative 20 is negative 40. Now you can rewrite this with the variable on the left-hand side, and that would look like this. W less than, because you got to reverse the sign, negative 40. Now you notice so far, everything we're doing, same as the equations for one-step multiplying or dividing. All right, 2 more examples before we stop for a moment and practice. So let's go with y divide 4 less than negative 8. Y divide 4 less than negative 8, the opposite of divide 4 is times 4. So we put a 4 up here and slash through these here. We put times 4 here. Bring down our y, bring down our less than. Negative 8 times 4 is negative 32. One last box to fill before we practice. Negative 24 is greater than or equal to 4w. Okay? Now, we still got to get w by itself, so fraction bar under each side and divide by 4. Okay? Slash through these. Negative 24 divide 4 is negative 6, and that is greater than or equal to 4. Or we can flip it around and put 4. Oh, did I write that? That's funny. Greater than or equal to w. Oops. There you go, guys. If you wrote that too, you weren't paying good attention to my mistake. So then we could rewrite that as w less than or equal to negative 6. Okay? Now, let's stop for a moment and practice.